What's up guys, Jimmy with Andrew here, and in today's video we have the Dualtron Victor Limited. We've reviewed a lot of Dualtrons in the past, and while awesome scooters, they universally have a big problem that's bugged both Andrew and myself, and this scooter promises to fix that and give us a lot more. Andrew, what do we have here?
Dualtron Victor Limited has a top speed of 50 miles per hour, massive 60 volt 35 amp hour battery, and a range of 65 miles.
We're gonna start off by unboxing it.
Bunch of snow. They didn't fix that issue though. We do not like the styrofoam. But we do have a fast charger. This isn't the issue they fixed though, but it is an issue that we've had on previous versions. Mini Motors USA is going to be providing a fast charger with any scooter that's over $2,000. It's a 35 amp hour battery. It should take you about 5 hours to charge from empty to full, but that's pretty impressive because normally they're providing you with just a 1.5 or 1.75 amp charger, which would take about 26 hours to charge a scooter from empty to full. And they also provided us with a slow charger, so that's nice.
That's the stock charger, what we're used to seeing, and it's a really slow charger.
So it's 86 pounds. I should be able to lift this up by myself. This styrofoam just gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, installation's a breeze. All we had to do was put on that front light, the axle nut covers, and then tighten these a little bit to your liking.
We're gonna do a walkthrough from top to bottom.
It has a beautiful i4 display in the center. It has a Bluetooth app that you can connect to it, adjust all sorts of settings, the push to start, the acceleration curve, the braking. So I do love their app, and it's one of my favorites out there. And then starting on the right side, we have nut hydraulic brake levers, a trigger throttle, a single and dual motors button, collapsible handlebars. You can just drop it in place. Make it nice and compact. On the left side, you have another nut hydraulic brake lever with a bunch of controls for the lights and the turn signals and the motorcycle grade horn. This button's for the front facing light, this button's for the stem and deck lights, and also the underglow lights. And then you also have emergency brake lights that can flash from the front and the rear. And then the turn signals are pretty bright.
And this tail light, I love this tail light.
And then also don't forget about the lights and the control arms as well. Extremely thick steering pull, the latch to unfold it, which is pretty stiff. Whoa. This is by far, oh wow, the sturdiest neck that we've ever seen on a Dualtron scooter. And this was the #1 issue that we've been having with it, where they have this flex, but look at that, no more flex. There's no more stem flex.
And that has been our biggest issue with these Dualtron scooters, the stem flex, the stem creak.
We have this really bright front-facing light with adjustable angle, plastic fender, cartridge suspension, and a 10x3-inch tubeless pneumatic tire. All of their 10-inch scooters in the past have been tubed in, so I love that they made this tubeless, and it's also got puncture-resistant gel inside of it. A 1300 watt motor with a peak output of 2150 watts, 160 millimeter brake disc with 2-piston nut hydraulic brakes, underglow lights, which are super cool, silicone deck, which is easy to clean but also gets dirty pretty quickly. Underneath the silicone deck is a 60 volt 35 amp hour Samsung battery, so I love that they use high quality battery cells. Some more lighting inside of the neck, and if you use the fast charger with the slow charger, you should be able to charge this in about 3.5 hours. Nice beefy kickstand, beautiful looking kick plate with light inside of it, and then there's also a latch to lock it in place when folded. You have another cartridge suspension in the rear, another 10x3-inch puncture-resistant tubeless pneumatic tire, another 1300 watt motor with a peak output of 2150 watts. Total package between the dual motors peak out at 4300 watts. And with everything combined, we should be able to reach a top speed of 50 miles per hour. And then right above that tire is a really big plastic fender, which is pretty rigid. The whole scooter features an IPX5 water resistance rating, and then the display should have an IPX6 water resistance rating.
Looking at the display, we're at 56% charge. We are going to get this guy freshly charged, and then we're going to take it out. The Dualtron Victor Limited. All right, cold day, and we are having a good time on the Dualtron Victor Limited. Andrew, your initial thoughts?
The Victor is by far one of my favorite scooters that Dualtron makes, and I love that they just keep making it better with all these huge upgrades.
So we're gonna go take this for a spin. On our ride on this frigid day, we're gonna tell you what we love about it, then what we hate about it, and then finally we're gonna end by telling you who we think should get the Dualtron Victor Limited.
Initially, when we got the scooter all set up and been riding, there wasn't any stem flex, but as I've been yanking on it, there is a little bit of movement now, and I'll show you exactly how to fix that issue. You have to actually unscrew this a little bit sometimes just to make sure that the tension is correct. Bringing it out a little bit should increase that tension. So now that I've brought out that bolt, it's rock solid again. It does tend to stretch over time, so you just want to make sure that if there's any type of play, just bring that bolt out or in.
And while we're here, and now that we have everything tuned up like we like it, let's talk about the things that we like about the Dualtron Victor.
I really love the changes that they made from the i4 display, which is nice and crisp, has that Bluetooth app that you can control a lot of settings with and lock out the scooter. Upgraded buttons, and these buttons are always super nice. And one thing that I love is that they've added a motorcycle grade horn, because if you're going 50 miles per hour on the street, you really need to have something that you can alert other cars around you.
The overall aesthetics of this is pretty amazing. Dualtron always does a great job with their style, going with the black and then with the underglow lights, and then my favorite has got to be the light on the kick plate, which is pretty darn cool. Dualtron scooters just look awesome.
Speaking about the lights, this front-facing light is super bright. It's actually keeping my hands warm right now. And in the past, it's been pretty much worthless, so I love that they've added a decent light for safe net riding. Probably the biggest safety change that they've added to this is making these tubeless pneumatic tires and making them a little bit wider with the hybrid tread on there.
Not very many scooter companies do this. Down here, there's that master power switch, and with that switch, you can deactivate the scooter, and that makes it harder for if you're out and about. If anyone were to just hop on your scooter and take off, they usually know to turn on and off a scooter from up top by the cockpit, but they don't know about that power switch. So I feel like that is a nice touch. Helps for safety reasons to prevent theft and also prevent battery drain.
Speaking about the battery, I love that they've made this a massive 60 volt 35 amp hour battery with high quality Samsung battery cells. It also comes with 2 charge ports, and hooray, they finally have started providing fast chargers with all their scooters that are above $2,000.
So when you buy this through Mini Motors, you get the 2 chargers, the stock charger and the fast charger. Fantastic if you want to charge extra fast. You're able to use both charging ports at the same time, or you can leave one charger at work and one charger at home so that you can charge wherever you tend to spend the most time. The fender has done a really good job protecting not only Andrew from getting wet, but the people that are following him from getting wet. So the fender does a great job, and on top of this scooter has a waterproof rating.
It has an IPX5 water resistance rating. It's not the highest, but I'm glad that Dualtron is finally putting some type of resistance on their scooters.
When we got the scooter, the box was beat up a little bit, and we were having some issues with our front brake. And Andrew, tell us about how we fixed that.
Yeah, I called Mini Motors up. They were able to diagnose it super quick, and instead of having me wait for the part, they found a local repair shop and had me just take it there to get it fixed pretty quickly.
So really nice that Mini Motors has this repair network that we can rely on, and very nice that they have knowledgeable people that figured out exactly what was going on.
Overall, it's a great scooter. It's not perfect, so at our next stop, we'll tell you what we hate about it. The suspension cartridge that are in the Dualtron scooters is nice and stiff that when you come off of jumps, it feels rock solid instead of that clanging sound you get from coil suspension.
So one of the other things I forgot to mention about what we like about Dualtron and what they're known for is the purr, the noise of the Dualtron. It's kind of an iconic scooter noise. It's like when you ride a Harley or when you ride a souped up car and it's making that noise.
Said 47 was the max speed on the display. Going against the wind, my top speed was 44 miles per hour. Coming with the wind, my top speed was 45 miles per hour. It took me 32.37 seconds to hit that 45 mile per hour top speed. Do I think this goes 50 miles per hour? It probably does, at 100% charge. We were at an 83% charge to get here. Normally we can get here pretty quick, but we just had a huge snowstorm and all the trails to get here were muddy, so we had to go the long route to get here. Other thing is, cold impacts top speed. It's only 35 degrees today. I would say that's probably what's impacting me from hitting that 50 mile per hour top speed. So overall, still a really fast scooter, still a really fun scooter.
In addition to doing top speed tests, Andrew also does home loans.
2 ways you can help us out with this channel is if you love the Dualtron Victor, use the link down below. It's at no cost to you and helps support us. The other way to help the channel is I'm licensed to lend in all 50 states for home loans, whether it be a refinance or brand new purchase. We have first-time home buyer programs. I'm a credit repair expert, and if you need any help, there's links in the description below.
Oh yeah! All right. Woo!
So I actually hit a higher top speed. Just needed to warm up a little bit. Sun came out. wind died down a little bit and I hit a 46 mile per hour top speed. So it went up from 45 to 46. The display said 49 miles per hour. That is about 3 miles per hour off because I hit 46, but still impressive that I was able to get going faster. And see, the sun came out and warmed it up a little bit.
Let's talk about the things that we don't like about the Dualtron Victor Limited. First off, I will say the way that it got shipped, we had the brake broken. Basically, it just needed a little tweaking. And I think that was because of the styrofoam packaging that they used. A lot of it was broken. It was making a mess in the garage as we were unboxing it. And so I wish they would update their packaging materials to more of that foam that people are using that seems to be more durable and less of a mess.
One of the biggest things that stands out to me is this cheap button for the single and dual motor option. All of the scooter looks really refined except for this button. The other issue I have is the safe mode. I can adjust tons of settings in the app except for removing that safe mode.
It goes into safe mode automatically after it's been sitting idle for some time. That's to prevent it from the throttle getting hit and then the scooter taking off.
But let me show you, if I try to do a quick variation of slamming on the brakes, then pressing on the throttle, I'll show you how long it's delayed for. It's like a 2-second delay. So pretty obnoxious. I love how stable the scooter is at high speeds, but right now in the cold, it's really rock hard and you're not really getting that plush riding feeling. Yes, it feels great coming off of jumps. However, when you see me bouncing on it, it's not moving because it's 35 degrees outside.
And so that's just something that's gonna happen with those rubber cartridges on this cartridge suspension. As the rubber gets harder, your suspension gets even more stiff.
And then this kick plate, the angle is way too high for my liking. Some people might like it, but I don't feel like I can apply as much leverage just because my arch of my foot is at such a high angle. On top of it, they've removed half of the place for me to put my foot in there.
And on top of that, when you're resting your heel or your foot on the kick plate, there's this little latch kind of can get in the way. So you have to put your heel on either side of the latch.
I wish that they would switch the horn with the light position. Having the light up higher would help with throwing out the light farther. And the horn doesn't need to be up high, it can be mounted lower. And then my last thing I hate about this thing is this kickstand. Even though I've tightened the bolt and extended it out, it still doesn't feel super stable, has a low profile, and sometimes will just fall over accidentally.
We're gonna keep riding, and while we ride, we're gonna tell you who we think should get this scooter. All right, Andrew, who should get the Dualtron Victor Limited?
For me, if you love the Dualtron brand, want the highest powered scooter that is semi-portable with all the newest and latest upgrades, the Dualtron Victor Limited should definitely be on your radar.
Dualtron fanboys are gonna love this. Great upgrades. Check out our full written review at freshlycharged.com. Thanks for watching, and make sure when you guys ride, wear your safety gear.